You're listening to Cattywampus.
I'm David.
And I'm Brian.
I'm Corey.
I'm Piderman.
And we watched Three Ninjas, a movie from Brian and Steve's childhood.
Yep,
I've never seen this.
Yeah, no, I watched it quite a bit when I was a kid. I think it was, when that come out, you said 93?
92.
92, so I would have been 7 or 8 years old when that was around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I loved it as a kid.
Yeah, I think I was like 3 when it came out. But I think when it was like 5 or 6, I probably got it on VHS. And yeah, for some reason, I watched it a lot.
I've
never seen this movie.
I've never seen it either.
I still don't hate it.
You enjoyed it.
I don't know. I don't.
I don't know if I'd say enjoyed it.
It's not on my list of like top 10 movies of all time.
You sure? You sure it's not like Godfather, Godfather 2, Three Ninjas, Vertigo?
I could have
Citizen
sworn you
Kane.
said you saw this like 500 times. Like,
I saw it a fucking lot.
so you must have loved it as a kid, right?
Picture this: you're a kid. There's ninjas.
But are they really?
I mean, when
Seems
I
like
was,
there's a step 3 to that you omitted, but I don't think there is.
Nope.
Well, I mean, it's the same principle as, yeah, I loved it a lot as a kid. As a kid, I also loved Kraft macaroni and cheese and fish sticks. Like,
I was kind of on board with the first act, actually, where the children's dad, who's an FBI agent, goes after like a terrorist of some kind, and a helicopter shows up with gunmen. And I was like, oh, this is going to try to be like a real movie. And then the 3 weird surfer bros show up to abduct the children, and I was like, no, this is not working at all.
It's time for some ninja style Home Alone.
I think Acts 1 and 3 are fine.
The movie's like 3 short films.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this interesting, like, Act 1. It's this weird Home Alone ripoff, and then it's this weird Lethal Weapon 2 ripoff where they're all on a
Right.
boat for some reason. Presumably to find the Cougar Ants.
if we were going to call it 3 short films, I'd say, you know, you get
3 short films about ninjas.
I mean, your Act 1 is, you know, kids being trained in mercenary-style assassin arts.
Remember my summer at Grandpa's where we learned to kill people?
Yeah, where'd that narration
is
go?
up with that?
Notice how that narration just fell away immediately, never came back at the end.
I'm sorry you disliked it so much. I thought it was fun.
Did you actually have fun watching this?
Yeah, I would have loved that if I was a kid and I saw it. You can't see all the movies, David. You can't see all of them.
I agree. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I feel like I've lost the thread. What does that mean?
There are more movies coming out at any given time that anybody can ever see. I just
Right,
never
right,
saw
right.
this as a kid. I think I would have loved it
Oh,
if
yeah,
I saw
yeah,
it when
yeah.
I was younger.
Definitely meant for kids. I remember spending summers accosting and throwing ninja stars at my grandfather.
Oh yeah,
You
remember
need
when
to
the
tell us more,
grandfather
Steve.
they tried to murder the grandfather?
Yeah, and they threw ninja stars at him while he was on the ground.
This is
But they missed.
He
so
could
they-
have died.
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, he was terrible at actually training them to be ninjas.
I don't know. I think for the most part, like the acting and everything was
I mean,
fine.
but was he really terrible at training them? 'Cause
I'm not
they
saying it was
won.
good, but the three fucking stoner bros obviously were terrible.
this was
I thought
rough for
Grandpa
me.
was fine.
I mean, we tried to find surf ninjas, but it wasn't online.
Yeah, Surf Ninja somehow has avoided the internet.
I thought we watched Surf Ninjas during Act 2.
No.
That's weird too, right? Like, so is Surf
Right.
Ninjas different than this?
Surf Ninjas is very different.
Is it about
Yeah.
a video game?
No, it wasn't about a video game. There was one kid in it who loved to play Game Gear, and for some reason his Game Gear came in very handy, I recall.
Oh, I see. I thought it was like a villain came out of a video game or something.
No.
I don't know. Maybe we should watch it.
I mean, unless it's on YouTube just streaming, which
I'd be
actually
shocked if
wouldn't
it ever
surprise me.
made it to DVD, let alone. I don't know. It really makes you yearn for like as I was watching this, I was like, is the Power Rangers better at this?
What, at Kung Fu or being ninjas?
Or like just action sequences?
Well, yeah, it's because it's all scaled down, and then you get robot fights.
Until it's scaled up.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get robot
the
fights.
robot fights are awesome.
And everybody's happy.
I love how Brian's just on his phone.
I'm looking at the DVD of Surf Ninja.
Oh my god.
Thinking about buying it.
Like how
What
much
else?
is
It's
it?
$3,
$10.
isn't it?
$10.
No man, don't
Don't do it.
do that.
Trying to see if it was digital.
Nobody's bothered to rip the DVD to a file.
Yeah, that says a lot.
That's how you know.
Nobody busted out Handbrake and just gave it a whirl.
I refuse to believe that that's a thing. There's got to be at least one copy floating around
Maybe.
somewhere on LimeWire.
It's like a pirate, and it's like you're gonna rip it and put it on like a torrent. It's like no,
No, nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Not happening.
Voodoo has it in 1080p.
What?
Horse shit they do. How much?
So I don't see an
$45.
option other than trailers, so maybe they don't.
Oh,
They have the trailer in digital
You
format
can buy the trailer in 1080p.
for $10.
This is for the 20th anniversary restoration of Surf Ninjas. What is this for?
It has one review saying it's an inoffensive slice of summertime fun.
I was really hoping I was going to have something, and I'll be honest, I got nothing.
The movie definitely felt more badass as a kid.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
I
because you
remember-
put yourself in those shoes.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm a kid. I could be a fucking ninja.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to murder people.
The scene where he like flips his clothes inside out and spray paints the mask. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I need a fucking mask. I'm gonna spray paint that thing.
That's what serial killers do, you know?
Like, he spray painted everything, and then he pulled him into his Dexter's
Yeah.
kill room.
Yeah, and then he tied him to a wheelchair and
Right?
started showing him a slideshow. And he's like, I am the dragon.
So something I don't remember about Three Ninjas was the soundtrack though, or the score.
The lack thereof.
Yeah.
I do not recall the fucking Pee Wee Herman, Danny Elfman.
It's a really
Boing.
fake. It's
Like-
fake Danny Elfman on a synth.
yeah,
It's not even
and
a real
and it's
orchestra.
like the same song every time you see the kids. And I think if you change the score and cut a few scenes, it'd be a much better
Well,
movie.
they did change the score during the end of Act 3 when
Yeah.
they were in
They
that
got serious
the
when they were
ninja
writing.
Well,
fighting.
apparently there's a 15-minute shorter version with even more childlike score that we didn't see.
Yeah, it was Disney's doing, right?
Disney Touchstone released it here in this country because it was made in semi-independently and sold to different markets. It's like Disney didn't like make this movie.
No, they bought it later.
I mean, obviously, when you look at it, you're like Disney definitely didn't make.
I don't
this.
think Disney would have allowed them.
Yeah,
even
this did
shooting
not
someone
fit
getting stabbed.
Disney's early 90s.
No, this is
motif for
no
live
Parent
action.
Trap.
So, do you think it's about time for a Three Ninjas reboot?
No.
Isn't that just the Karate Kid remake?
Well, no, because there's three
yeah,
of
there's
them.
3 of them.
Yeah, but I just felt like they really de-aged the Karate Kid in that movie.
So you're telling me they recast the same kids but digitally de-aged them?
Yes. Yes, it was like Grand Moff Tarkin, but Karate Kid. No, like in the Karate Kid movie, the remake, like Jaden Smith, he was like much younger than like Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, how come none of those? Act 2 was a ride. How come none of those guys actually died from asphyxiation, let alone?
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, that guy being choked
Domino's
on
guy,
the-
yeah.
The guy was being choked by some necktie noose hung from a banister. The other guy was like,
I think we can all agree it was pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, up until they untied him, I was real close to getting there.
I mean, just the idea that the life was just going to drain out of him.
like maybe he'll actually die. This movie
his
could be a
blood
little
vessels
bit more
burst.
interesting.
Sexual as my childhood
This
movie.
is-
Oh
I mean,
man,
this was the uncut
Brian, I
version.
hate to break it to you, this was a snuff film.
I was sitting there and I was like, his blood vessels aren't the only thing that's going to burst. I tell you what, man.
Ooh,
That was terrifying, though. Like,
What?
He tied a bunch of his father's ties
Oh
together.
yeah, he
put
maliciously.
keys, put a set of heavy keys on the end of them, and basically turned it into
Like a
a
ballista,
noose.
right?
He turned into a
Yeah.
noose, and then he dragged him around, and then dragged him to the banister, and held him up so he choked, and then left him there for minutes.
Left him for dead.
like he should have at least fainted. Like
We're missing the best part, though, when he literally jumped over the banister, holding it, dragging him by the neck through the banister. This kills the person.
right
Very sexy.
there.
I mean, it's no worse than like in Home Alone when they get fucking.
It's a little worse than Home Alone. Well,
I
Home
disagree.
Alone's,
In
Home
Home
Alone's a
Alone, they get-
cartoon, though. Like, it's clearly a
Yeah,
cartoon,
they
whereas
get-
this, you're like, what is this?
They get murdered in Home Alone.
Oh, yeah,
A
yeah.
lot.
No, it's not sexy in Home Alone at all.
We weren't asking if it was.
I think
sex.
I'm sorry. I forgot to tell everybody I've changed the format of the podcast. We're now just
You
talking
found
about
something
what's
interesting.
sexy.
We are talking about what aroused us in our childhood films.
Actually, that is an interesting topic that I'm kind of interested to explore further. Like, is this one of those vids where everybody watched Space Jam and they're like, that Lola Bunny, I'll tell you what.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, cartoons never did it for me. I wanted a real woman, Steve.
Don't you make fun of my
shame my
waifu
body
pillow.
pillows.
It was Famke Jensen in Goldeneye. She was choking people to death with her thighs, and I was like, "What is this now?" I was 9 years old. And I was
Sign
like,
me up.
I was like, "Go on."
Interesting.
Maybe that's why Pierce Brosnan is my favorite James Bond. Now that I think about it.
Sexual awakening.
For some reason, I didn't.
You're
know that
answering a
Pierce-
lot of questions I didn't know I had.
Yeah,
I didn't know Pierce Brosnan was your favorite though.
I thought you were about to say I didn't know Pierce Brosnan was James Bond.
I did.
No, I think he was my I think until Craigie was my favorite. Craig is my favorite now.
The game for Tomorrow Never Dies was awful. I don't know if you ever
They
played
made
it.
a game for that?
Yeah, because it was like off the success of GoldenEye. They're like, we got to make another Bond.
And it
Yeah.
The one for World Is Not Enough was good.
I know people like the one where it's like an original story with Brosnan, but I don't remember what it is.
There's a few of them that are original story with Brosnan.
But
There
like they
was,
got Brosnan, they cast like Willem Dafoe as the villain.
Oh, that was Everything or Nothing.
Oh yeah. I know people like that. I've never played it.
There was Nightfire was one of the original ones they did.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Under Fire was another one.
What was the last James Bond game?
Game?
GoldenEye Rogue Agent. It was the remake of the original GoldenEye with Daniel Craig instead of Brosnan because
Yeah.
they didn't have the rights anymore.
Yeah.
Didn't they do
It
that
was
game?
garbage.
Didn't they do that game too where Daniel Craig? They got Daniel Craig, but it was 6 missions, and each mission was from a different pre-existing Bond movie.
007 Legends, I think.
Yeah, Legends.
Oh, maybe that was the last one.
Because it's Daniel Craig, but like, what if it was Daniel Craig in
Moonraker,
Goldfinger,
yeah.
in Moonraker, and
I
yeah.
heard that the From Russia with Love game was good too.
Oh, where they
yeah,
got
maybe that was
Connery.
the last
No, that
one.
wasn't the last one. That was an older one, but they got Connery, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, I mean that was during the last console generation. I remember that.
007 Legends was after that, and the GoldenEye Rogue Agent was after that. That from Russia with Love game.
It was From Russia with Love was on GameCube.
I remember. Well, maybe you're right because I remember selling it when I was with Best Buy.
I thought you were about to be like, I remember selling it in the room to the executives. I was like, let's just remake from Russia with Love. Fuck it.
What game have you gotten made?
There's your answer,
I was,
Steve.
I was gonna make a joke where I was gonna list a really popular franchise and then reveal it was the worst one I made, but then I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to say Mass Effect and then reveal it was Andromeda, or I could have been like, I worked on Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, I don't love that game.
Yeah, nobody remembers that.
I
What is
remember
that?
it. I didn't,
I
The
remember
first
Red
Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is a sequel
To Red Dead Revolver.
to Red Dead Revolver, and Red Dead Redemption 2. I was like, don't you mean like 3? Because this is the third game.
I am now very confused.
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
a red.
Red Dead
It's called
Redemption
Red
was
Dead
an-
Revolver.
I thought that was an original release.
Well,
No,
it
it's a
also-
sequel.
Well, Red Dead Revolver also wasn't a traditional Rockstar game. It wasn't sandbox open
No.
world.
it was the same
But
character too, I think.
But it's the equivalent of saying
I don't think it was
it's the
Marston.
equivalent of if it were like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight 2. You'd be like, wait, what? That's
you
weird.
can't blame me for being confused, given
Maybe
the
it
Oh, I
naming
just thought you.
nomenclature
I
they used.
I think so highly of you in video games. I just assumed you knew about it.
No, they shouldn't have called Red Dead Redemption 2 Red Dead Redemption 2. They
No, I
should have
agree.
called
I thought it should have
Red
been a
Dead
different name.
Revenge
Yeah,
or
exactly,
Red
or
Dead
something.
3.
Well,
like,
to be fair,
Red Dead Reckoning.
Redemption 2 is actually a prequel to Redemption.
which
so.
which I
Red
don't,
Dead Resurrection.
Wait, it's a prequel to
Yeah,
the first. Oh,
it-
fuck this!
so-
What is this
so
nonsense?
That's
So it goes Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption
Well, that's
2,
the thing.
Red Dead
Revolver's
Redemption.
not. Redemption's not really a sequel to Revolver so much.
That's
as
all
it
right.
is a-
Apparently, Redemption 2 is not really a sequel to Redemption. Apparently,
Well,
It's a
Revolver.
prequel.
Redemption was more of a spiritual successor to Revolver.
Kind of like Fallout 3 was The Elder Scrolls Oblivion with guns.
Brian, what news from the world? Since you're just on your phone while we're talking.
I,
Brian, what
I
news
was, I was trying to figure out the story for Red Dead Revolver because I played it and I didn't care for it. I think it was the next game they made after Oni.
Oni was Bungie.
No, Oni was Rockstar.
2004.
No.
Hold on.
Was that
Oni
the original
1000%
Xbox?
was
fight,
Bungie.
fight,
I could- for some
Yeah, no,
Fight.
Oni was Bungie because they actually have references to Oni in
Kumite.
Halo.
So it's Bungie and Rockstar.
Oh,
What?
It's a
we
co-op.
both get to be right.
Yep.
Oh, or you're both wrong.
You're both wrong because you're both
It is-
right.
The developer was Bungie West. The publisher was Rockstar.
That's weird.
Wait, Rockstar published it?
Oni.
Yep. Oni is the
Rockstar's not a
what if
publisher.
I really mean this in the best way. I really hope everyone who clicked on this because they thought it was going to be Three Ninjas is sorely disappointed.
Because
and you
we
should be,
sure as
because
hell
there's nothing
were.
to say about this movie. It's terrible.
Don't
Tell
bother.
me,
You
Brian,
don't
what's the
wanna-
story
you
of Oni?
You don't want a deep dive of Three Ninjas?
There's no dive. We deep dove and we hit the fucking shallow end of the pool on the floor.
Yeah,
don't
this
wanna
movie is
know-
as shallow as a puddle.
God, did you ever play? Is it Kill Shot? Or it's not Kill Zone. It's Kill Something, and it was a cover-based third-person shooter.
I know which one you're talking about, but
I cannot think of the name, but it was essentially what like Gears of War would become.
right.
It was just a
Wasn't Killzone PlayStation's
yeah
attempt
that's
to
It was their
Halo?
attempt to have a Halo killer of some kind.
Yeah, it didn't work though.
not at all.
No.
People
No.
love it. Some people.
I don't think people love it. I think if people loved it, there'd be a hit kill zone. There'd be 2 hit kill zones on every PlayStation iteration.
I thought that was more of like a Half-Life knockoff, especially the design on some of the enemies.
I think it's like a first-person shooter. I remember playing one of them, and it felt like they were trying to do Halo.
I don't know, man. Some of the masks those guys had reminded me exactly.
That it may be, but the way it played, I think they were trying to make it feel.
The closest thing that
feel
Sony's
like Halo.
ever had to a Halo killer would have been Resistance.
Resistance 2 was awesome, but not a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, Resistance was the closest thing they had to it. Good alternate reality, World War II. What would happen if instead of the normal World War II we got, it was an alien invasion?
Problem with PlayStation or Sony is that they don't realize they already have Halo killers. They're just not like Halo. If they had just realized that Final Fantasy was like their Halo killer, then and not let it go non-exclusive, they might have like they didn't know what they had. They were trying to get other things.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say God of War.
Yeah, their Halo killer is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Right now, yeah.
Yes.
Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us.
Yeah,
That's because God of War is still very likely to be my game of the year this year.
it's a good game. I need to finish it. It's a good game.
It was...
I don't know though. Spider-Man. I mean,
Spider-Man was fun, but nothing this year has engrossed me like
will
God of
say,
War did.
Playing Spider-Man and then going straight into Red Dead makes me appreciate Red Dead 10 times more because the world is so much more interesting. The world in Spider-Man is dead to me. Like there's
Well,
nothing.
I mean, that's
Well, it's
because
not, yeah.
it was never meant to be as immersive.
because you're meant to soar through the sky.
right.
Brian.
Don't ignore the ground and nothing going on down there.
Yeah,
just fly.
you're Spider-Man.
Yeah,
He's not
if
known
you-
for running around the ground.
Yeah, if you were standing on the ground for longer than 2 seconds at a time, you were doing it wrong.
2 things. One, I hate console exclusives, so sorry, middle fingers up to Sony and Microsoft. They're just as guilty of this with Halo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they arguably up until this year, they were the ones who were known for it more because they had the 2 most successful ones, Halo and Gears of War.
I think exclusives have to happen.
I
Yeah,
don't.
exclusives are a
I
thing.
press X to strongly disagree.
Well, the consoles don't make them money.
Right, and that's
games
the
No,
problem.
they don't.
You're not going to see
Well,
non-exclusives.
and also like some of it's unavoidable. Like I think Spider-Man's a really good example because it's Sony.
Yeah.
They're never gonna give up Spider-Man.
I keep hearing this BS logic about consoles being sold at a loss.
Yeah, no, I mean, they always are sold at a loss.
It depends. It's
They're
specific
not
to console.
hemorrhaging money selling these consoles.
Well,
No.
they're hemorrhaging money, but they're massive corporations in which this is not their main source of revenue. Microsoft's main source of revenue is
There's another bit here, and that is every game sold on the system, every bit of DLC, Microsoft or Sony takes around 30%. That number varies, around 30% of the profit. So they make money. By the time you've bought your system, you bought a Player 2 controller, because who doesn't? You've played, you buy a few games. They've already made up any loss they had when they sold you that system.
But that's
Well,
not
right, but that's
it
not.
depends. It depends.
And I mean, I get what you're trying to say, Corey, but you're thinking on a grander scale. They're not losing money overall. The point that we're making is that the console themselves, in many cases, especially during the initial window of launch, usually costs them more to make than what they sell it for.
Funny fact
it's
about
generally
that.
an anomaly if it's a successful console.
When
Like,
a new console
the PS2 is an anomaly for how well it did.
well, yeah, that one lasted
And
way
the,
too
the
long.
Switch.
Yeah, the Switch is an anomaly. They've lost so. I still.
The Wii U is a flop.
Wii U was a flop. The N64 was a flop. People, I think we're of an age where we think of it as successful.
Yeah,
it
no.
cost them so much money.
Yeah,
they
the
lost so
N64
much money on the
A
N64.
64-bit system in that day?
Yeah.
I didn't have a 64-bit PC back
Yeah.
then. Like, a 64-bit game console
That was
was ahead
a
of its
huge
time.
loss. Yeah.
And then the other thing, circling back to the whole thing, console exclusives, I feel like, are important and are a necessity. And the reason being is that breeds competition. If exclusives on each system, each platform, means that those platforms continue to be sustainable and viable, which means competition continues. Much as annoying as it is, especially for pure PC gamers, it becomes a necessary evil in order to keep competition up. Because let's say that we got into this fantasy world where everybody could have every platform could run every single game.
Imagine
All of a
that.
sudden, we run into the problem of, okay, well then, which console do you buy?
It's simple. You buy the one with the best value, the best performance for the same game,
Right,
the
and
best
then-
online services, and low latency.
Right, and then what happens to the other ones that don't do that? They fall out of favor. They fall out of favor and the companies fold, or that particular branch of the company folds. Now all of a sudden there's only one console you can buy.
Huzzah! PC!
And then all of a sudden, guess what? PC components start going back up in price because now they're at a premium. Because everybody has to have one in order to play games.
I doubt that. I think that we've already seen a market emerge.
We've already
You doubt that capitalism.
I excessively doubt it for
right,
one
and
reason.
we've already
towards monopoly.
There's already a market for PC games, for
But we've
PC
already
gamers
seen
that
it
don't know
happen.
how to build their own PCs.
We've already seen it
When?
happen.
With Bitcoin
It
mining.
didn't,
Yes.
it didn't work though.
But
The Steam
Bitcoin
machine-
mining.
But
No, not Steam machine. Bitcoin mining.
but
No,
also
no, but
like
he's saying a PC for people that don't know how to build.
Alienware's had you covered on this for years, and every other brand from Asus.
Right, they've had you
Megabyte,
covered for years
MSI,
if you wanted
but
to pay
they've-
them the outrageous premium of having them built it for you.
Exactly.
yeah,
And
but generally speaking, it is a niche market, and these consoles are becoming more and more of a niche market. Like the reason like Microsoft is doing what it's doing is because they know at the end of the day, if it's not on like for most people, if it's not on your phone, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're never gonna play it.
And that's why we keep getting all these shitty mobile games.
That's how we end up with things like Diablo Immortal.
See,
Well, that's why like that what Google's beta with like the Assassin's Creed streaming thing is probably like that is the future.
And it works actually quite
That's what I
well.
hear. I have a friend who did it on a Chromebook and it worked excellently. I was
Yeah,
like, that's insane.
I am shocked at
Yeah.
how well it works.
That's why Microsoft is like Microsoft knows that like they need the branding. The reason they're buying studios, the reason they need Halo and Gears of War and all this stuff is because they know at the end of the day that's the only thing they're going to have. They're not going to have a box you buy. They're going to have Forza. They're going to have Halo.
let me ask you a question. What's the difference between the Switch and the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One?
What's the difference? I mean,
Right, right.
are you,
If you think
are you
about-
looking for an answer? Or do you want me to say what? Are you asking what do I feel
Yeah,
like
you
the difference
it
is?
sounds like you're trying to lead me to
Yeah.
an answer.
Or do you just
I
wanna
I
know-
want to see where you go with this because we really have 4 consoles. But if I'm going to be blunt, my opinion is there's only 2.
Do
And
we have
there's
4?
Nintendo
Wait,
Switch,
I don't even know what the fourth one is.
I'm assuming PC is the
PC, Xbox. They're the closest in similarity. Bear with me here.
Well, then
and then
you should be
PlayStation
well,
is
then-
very similar to Xbox, and then you have the Nintendo Switch, which is a completely different platform.
Yeah, but I feel like you're okay. Well, I don't see that's if you're saying PC is counted, then we should also count phones. We should count tablets.
yeah,
we
you're
should
also
count,
counting iPad, Android.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just
iOS
condense
and
iPads and
Android.
iPhones into one category. It's mobile gaming. If
Okay,
it's in your
so mobile.
okay, so you mobile gaming.
So mobile, PC,
mobile gaming
PlayStation,
is
Xbox,
way
and
over there where Pluto
Switch
used to
and-
be. Okay, like
I guess the 3DS is still.
What do you mean where Pluto used to be? Mobile gaming is the most successful, is the most profitable sector on the planet. You do realize that the reason Diablo Immortal exists right now
Yeah,
is because
like-
they're trying to capture the Chinese market. Like, that's the emerging market that most companies are targeting now.
okay, so you have China's population's what, just over 1 billion people?
I'm sorry, I stopped watching Carmen Sandiego in the 90s, so any figure I'm gonna give you is about 25 years out of date.
So middle fingers up to the 300 million in the U.S. and the multiple hundreds of millions throughout the European regions because, and I'm just going to generalize a bit. Bear with. The U.S. and the European markets in general have similar tastes of gaming. Just throwing that out there. It's going to vary from mile to mile, but you have China, which is a completely different area because, first of all, internet-wise, they actually have a very restrictive firewall. It's a whitelist firewall. So if you're in the country, you can't just access any server you want to, and servers that you do connect to are manipulated. This is just a fact of living in China. I'm not making this up. So China's its own world, okay? It's Earth 2. It's a different version of Earth. Everybody else is on the same internet but these guys, and North Korea. But anyway.
There's actually many countries blocked and changed their.
So
Yeah,
if you're
a
making
lot
a
of
game for the Chinese
Actually.
market, why announce it at your U.S.-based fan fest?
Okay, I was thinking about this morning. All right.
Well, that's because the mobile market is here too.
Well, no,
In
no,
English.
I think-
No, announce it in China.
Well, no.
In
No,
Mandarin.
the mobile market.
No,
is also
one
here,
rebuttal.
right?
Yeah,
It's
I've
the
been there.
Sony and Microsoft and every game developer does not give a shit about anyone in this room because they don't care about your console and they don't care about your PC and they don't care about your graphics card. They go, how can we reach my mom? How can they reach the people who have not bought this stuff and get those people on a subscription
Yeah.
base and get a consistent revenue growth?
How do I
That
get
is
my
all they
shareholder-
care
You
about.
put it on a
How do
phone.
I get my
Everything they're
shareholders
doing
excited?
everything they're doing is an effort towards that.
You put
So-
it. You put it on a phone because literally everyone has a phone,
Yes.
and that's why Fortnite.
That's why it's moving this way.
That's why Fortnite. That's why PUBG. That's why.
Which
Sure,
is going to
as
have
long,
a mobile
as long
component.
as Qualcomm keeps playing ball, yes. As
Yeah.
it stands for other SoC companies, nobody else has graphics capabilities even close to Qualcomm. And Qualcomm's royalties, by the way, keep increasing year over year.
Again,
I work with them.
I don't think it won't be shitty. It
They're
doesn't mean they're
expensive.
not going to do it. Like it's gonna look bad. It's gonna.
No,
be,
you think spending $1,000 on a phone's bad this year?
No, it's gonna. Be, well, not only that,
It's gonna get worse.
It's going from. You're talking about like graphics and fidelity and computer process. It's gonna get worse. Have you not noticed what happened to the music industry? We hit a zenith of how good things sound, and in the last 30 years, our delivery method has gotten worse. We've made music systematically get worse in quality.
And do you think that's gonna
for
happen with
30
games?
years? I think it happens with every industry. I think
I'm afraid you're right.
4K streaming doesn't look as good as a Blu-ray.
Well, that's true.
It went worse. It's always going to go worse because convenience will always trump quality.
One rebuttal. First of all,
Yeah.
gaming PC. I built one 2008 from the ground up. Upgraded every component, basically built it from scratch.
Yeah.
That same PC I built in 2008 with 8 gigabytes of memory, GeForce 280, and a quad-core CPU running at 4 gigahertz clock would still be able to run all modern games at medium or high settings today, 10 years later.
I say again, you're an anomaly.
Unfortunately, I'm not. There are hundreds of thousands of people that do this.
So
So
what?
you could say that's 1% of the U.S. population. You could try to quantify that, whatever. But
Yeah, we could say that it's 1% of the population.
sure, you could, but that's
It's
not my
really
point.
hard to go to a
Here's my
stockholders
point,
and go,
David.
guys, I think I've captured 1% of the population. Oh, I'm fired? Oh, I
One-
see. I'll see myself out.
One
I understand.
for the price of
With good
$1,000, you could build a machine that could stand 10 years of time.
But it won't play Spider-Man. But you can go to
And
Best
that's
Buy.
another grievance I've got.
Yeah,
But
but
that's a
that's the
different
point.
topic.
You can go to Best Buy, and for $200, you can get a little black box that plays Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man box.
The
Yeah.
Spider-Man
That
box.
Spider-Man machine's excellent.
Yeah.
Right, but here's my point. Okay, this is what I was going to end on. Cell phones are getting more expensive, and that trend ain't stopping. Phones are getting really expensive. Dude, these things are costing more than $1,000.
Yeah.
I was looking at pricing just the new Pixel 3 over $1,000 to price out what I wanted. And the system on chip is only like 8% better than last year's.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking a massive improvement, okay? Moore's Law's hit. Silicon's not getting a lot faster. Until we find something else to build our chips with, that ain't going to change. So what I'm trying to say is, A, we've hit a speed limit with silicon in general. B, phones have caught up to CPUs and what they can do, and limited by their form factor, heat model, and voltage regulation. By the way, that's 4.5 volts and what?
Well, we all know
31
that. I don't
hours.
think you need to spell it out. Nor do you need to ask many follow-up questions about what that means.
Phones value is going down. PC value continues to go up. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Phones are more convenient, but I'm also going to make a valid point in that.
I would say phones are also more of a necessity.
No, they're not. I played around a Fortnite on my phone while I was in the restroom. Who doesn't? Who doesn't play a game on their phone on the restroom? Or go to
I
Reddit or
never.
whatever?
Not
I
once,
like to,
ever.
when I shit, I like to sit in quiet
Well,
contemplation.
I like
good
to
sir.
kill people, David. So I play
only
around a
read my
Fortnite.
shampoo bottle.
After 20 minutes, I'm done, and my phone battery has gone down by over 20%. $1,
Have you considered living in the woods?
$1, $3, whatever.
I think you'd be very happy.
On in-app purchases, and eventually spending hundreds of dollars. The free-to-play model works. You can make thousands of dollars per customer on your game if it's free to play, and you get small transactions repeatedly over a long enough time. If someone loves your game and they keep buying very small things, it
So you're saying
adds up.
Diablo is going to do very well.
Oh, it will, David. It very much will. And I would not be surprised if they made a StarCraft mobile a la Vainglory. Don't know if you remember that title. They announced that.
Steve has just started to hit himself with his headphones in the corner.
Poor Steve.
I literally
Where-
just feel like
where is this
my
conversation
brain is
going?
compressing into a
I
singularity.
don't know. I don't know.
Help, I have opinions, and you guys need to change yours.
Like, I don't know what the end goal of anything that's happened here in the last 15 minutes was. All I could do was sit here going, Mom and Dad are doing it again!
Throw
It's
your
terrible.
phone out. Throw
It's
your phone out and go
fucking
get a
terrible.
computer right now.
Like, at this point, I've heard every argument from, well, this is just the nature of commerce, to live in a Unabomber-style shack in in the
Hey,
forest.
that wasn't me.
No, it was my suggestion to you.
Get me away from all these people and their dumb tech. Yeah, that's totally me.
So, Steve, what exclusives are you excited for?
Fucking exclusives!
I love exclusives.
You
I
love
mean,
exclusives because
I
you own the
don't-
console they're on.
Because I love those games.
Where's my Spider-Man, David? Where's my Spider-Man?
Corey, do you need a timeout?
I'm
Corey,
re-
your Spider-Man's right there. It's on a PlayStation. They're $200.
I'm just sad
Live
because I have a
with it.
$1,200 PC, a $400 Xbox One, and I still can't play a damn game called Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You shut the fuck up and go play your
Spider-Man's
Fortnite.
owned by Sony, and you can't play any Nintendo game either. So, like, they're owned by who they're owned by.
Dude, I got enough of Mario when I was
Go
a kid.
play
I-
Fortnite. Go play
I don't
Heroes
need
of the
Mario
Storm.
17. I'm good with that. I don't need
Go play
Mario
WoW.
Racer 8.
It's a shame because the last Mario was really good.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. What
They've all been good.
What PC exclusives do you have? World of Warcraft.
Okay.
StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2.
Right?
Heroes of the Storm.
yeah, I can't play any of your spreadsheet games.
League of Legends, EVE Online.
Yeah.
Warframe. Oh wait, hold on.
Well, not
Guess what?
Warframe.
That's coming
Not
to the
Warframe.
Switch, and I've had that installed on my Xbox.
Are you bitter about that?
Warframe's been on consoles.
Yeah, Warframe's been on
Warframe's been on
consoles,
consoles,
since
but it's a
launch.
patch cycle behind.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's still better on PC. I mean,
actually,
there's-
it handles pretty well on console.
yeah, it does. But I mean, if you think about it, there's
Wait a
still
minute,
plenty
I
of
love consoles.
exclusive.
I know, Corey.
here's the
We
thing,
just
I
we
got
just
it.
seasoned rabbit seasoned him to the point where he's now
Holy
defending
shit.
consoles.
Wait a minute.
almost
I gotta
like-
get a PS4.
Actually, Steve, it's pretty good on console.
some games I break out a controller for because they make more sense on
We
a
got
damn
him.
controller. Some games make better sense on a controller.
Wait, didn't you say earlier that you actually liked Fortnite better on the phone?
Yeah, weird. And I was like, I'll just download this because I'm in the beta.
Just for
goddamn
reference right now, Brian and I are just staring at each other in
goddamn
bewilderment. In bewilderment right now.
Nobody plays mobile games. I love Fortnite Mobile.
I love the
I
most
know
popular
people
game
play
right now.
mobile games. I'm just very mad and sour about it because I'm also one of them.
Really?
This is
Answer
more
your
about
question?
So really, you hate yourself.
this is more about
You
self-loathing.
you hate you
always
hate the
hated
dark
myself.
mirror that mobile presents.
Corey,
100%
Corey,
on the
Corey.
nose.
Corey, don't you have to take a shit and play Fortnite?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's
you're
have to,
right.
let's have to shit playing Fortnite.
Gotta go get my victory royale. I mean,
Yeah,
my
it's good thing it's on a
chicken
phone. Otherwise, you have to
dinner.
drag your PC into the bathroom.
I would.
I know you would. This is my bathroom PC, my living room PC. This PC's in the attic.
This PC's
I put a
in the
PC in this
bedroom.
car.
Oh, I knew a guy that did that. He put an inverter in his car, and he had a fully functional gaming computer built into the side. Yes,
That doesn't
he did.
sound street legal at all.
This doesn't sound
Oh,
safe.
it sure as hell wasn't.
Was it for the passengers?
Yes, it's for the passengers. You can't use
still-
it at all in the driver's seat.
It still seems questionable at
That's
best.
not with that attitude.
I know.
You give me a keyboard and mouse, and I'm gonna
mean,
get my victory
He's
royale.
just playing. He's just
I was
playing
just thinking, like, you know,
Firewatch in
like-
the back of a car.
Load up World of Warcraft.
I'm gonna
Because
find
he had a
this
hotspot
mystery.
like wired to his battery. Okay, so this car was on 4G. He played while he was driving across the country.
Of course he did.
I have no idea how the fuck he did it. He was a terrible healer, to be fair.
Well,
that makes
he
sense.
was in
of
a
the
truck.
two of the two options, I'd rather him be bad at WoW
Right.
than the driving.
But when you've wiped
could
on
either be
Lich
healing
King
the
for the
digital
50th
people or
time this
killing real
night,
people.
You're like, yeah, can you just knock some kids over and win, please?
like a healer that stands in the fire. Imagine that. That was this guy.
Again, the alternative is that this truck driver.
that he literally starts a fire.
There's another
with the
alternative.
tanker of fuel he's driving.
Don't join a raid group if you're fucking trucking. Just saying. Look, I'm just saying. You think I'm crazy?
This
if
is
I don't want to go out on a limb here, but
there are
He has
crazy.
begrudged this man for years about
you
Oh, I played with this guy like 9 years ago, and I still remember.
you take WoW very seriously.
I used to.
Most people
It's very
that,
sad
most
now.
people that are still playing.
Yeah,
WoW
most
take
people that have
WoW
been
very
playing as long as
seriously.
Corey has. Yeah,
That dream
Yeah.
died for me like 7 years ago.
What really keeps me playing is the idea of WoW. It's not the game itself. The game itself now sucks. Okay, the idea of the game.
Why
is
do you
still-
play it?
Because of the idea.
I can quit anytime I want.
I mean, I think about EverQuest like once a week, and that game hasn't been good in like 20 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, how did we get from Three Ninjas to?
Man, Three Ninjas just.
We gave up
it's
on Three
just
Ninjas
not-
because it was terrible and there was nothing to talk about.
I don't. We
Well,
start-
we started on the exclusive talk, and then we said, "What are we
Don't.
interested in?" We never got there.
I'm just super hyped about the new Warframe Fortuna update. It's coming out like in a couple weeks.
Oh, Fortuna.
That's gonna be another massive patch for the game.
It's going to be big. Fortuna looks very, very interesting.
It's a lot. I think the size of the map is bigger than Plains of Eidolon, but a lot of the quality of life stuff they're doing is coming back to the plains. So if you like that open world thing they're doing, man,
I mean,
they're
I do
doing it
enjoy
well
the
right now.
open world aspect was a nice change for Warframe. It feels really good.
I mean, it was a corridor dungeon crawler before that. Like,
Yeah.
It really opened it up.
and Warframe's one of those games that even if you don't play on PC, it's available on console.
Yeah,
and
it's
fun.
on Switch now. It's been on.
Is it on the
Xbox.
Switch finally?
Yeah.
Or is
Yeah,
it-
yeah.
So it
And
is
it-
on though.
Apparently, it runs really well on the
like
Switch.
I
Yeah.
can get it now on the Switch.
They
Yeah.
something about
So I was waiting for a while.
something about it runs so well on the Switch that they actually went back and changed
Yeah.
the Xbox and PS4 versions.
So they hired another studio to do the port to Switch for optimization.
I think it was the same
and all
company that's been doing all the ports
like
to Switch.
Wolfenstein.
That.
Yeah.
Well, they brought back. And they went and after engaging with them and doing the patch cycle, the developers at DE interacted with them. Were like, hey, so you optimized it. Can we just get some best practices? And they're like, yeah, here you are. So they gave them the optimizations, and they're bringing them back over to not only the PC but
Xbox, and PlayStation. They're all getting a massive optimization patch.
So basically, the Switch port for a brief time was the best version of the game, essentially.
Weird as this
Yeah.
sound, yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Like, oh, we ported the game and made it.
It's
better.
because this
Better.
company has gotten so good from their work. I believe it's the same company that did Doom, Wolfenstein,
I think it's
every
Blue Point.
yeah, something like that. And they were gotten so good at optimizing and compressing code to be able to run well
On the Switch.
with the specs it has, that it translates over to everything else.
Did they
The
do
more you
Elder
can-
Scrolls as well?
Yeah, I think they did do Skyrim as well.
I think so. I mean, if it comes down to optimization,
It runs well. I mean,
we'll see. And then we've got that new awesome Diablo game coming out for mobile phones. I'm sure everybody here is going to enjoy that.
Yeah,
April
I
Fool's
did
jokes.
I did my
who
mobile.
hurt you?
I did my mobile gaming thing for about 2 months, and I gave up on that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everybody's mad about Diablo Immortal.
Right.
Everyone.
Well,
Is it because they wanted a new Diablo
because
and not a
everybody
mobile
wanted a new
Diablo?
I think here's the problem.
That's part of the issue, I think.
This is
Yeah.
like Halo Wars, where
Yeah,
everybody
well,
was
here's
like,
the big
"Oh,
problem.
this isn't a new Halo."
Well, the problem was that BlizzCon this year, the opening ceremony, was a massive failure, but in every regard. That's pretty
Somebody
much the
die? What
consensus.
happened?
Well,
Wait, the
no,
opening
it's just-
ceremony. The
back-
torch blew out at BlizzCon.
Go in the time machine back to, I think, September, actually. And the Diablo community managers were actually said, like, in a community video, because they do these videos, like, every season or so. Like, hey, community, here's what we're working on. Here's the, it's kind of like Jeff Kaplan from the Overwatch team. He has these
Hey
little
guys,
updates.
Jeff from the Overwatch team here.
Yeah, it's like this little update. Like, here's what we're working on. Here's
Yeah,
what we
yeah,
want to
yeah.
improve.
Papa bless.
We've listened to your feedback. We're
Papa
introducing
Jeff
a
bless.
reporting system, which wasn't working from day one for some reason. Moving on. So basically, they had this thing that there's some huge announcements coming up for Diablo this year, coming up at the end of the year. Stay tuned. And it's like, oh, huge announcements. Thus, a new Diablo game, right?
I mean, but it is a new Diablo game.
Well, no, the problem that I
Yeah,
saw.
What? How did the opening ceremony
yeah,
of
come
a
in here, 'cause
convention become disaster?
I didn't watch it from the
Well,
beginning.
the problem is that BlizzCon opening ceremonies have traditionally been this opportunity for them to show off what's next, what the big new thing that you're going to be playing in the next 12 months is going to be, what you're going to see next from World of Warcraft, from Hearthstone, from Heroes of the Storm, Diablo, etc., etc. There were no announcements that blew anybody away. I think the best announcements of the day were things like we're getting a Warcraft 3 remake, which is fantastic. Like that's great.
I was gonna
But
say,
was it even in high demand?
I will say that this.
Yes, that is something people have been asking for many years now.
I am extremely fucking excited about Warcraft, and I think
Warcraft 3, not World of Warcraft.
Warcraft
right?
3. Yeah, I think this was my favorite BlizzCon opening. So that's only because
What happened? I'm so
No,
struck
there-
by this.
nothing-
They're like
Well,
nothing-
here's the problem. The way that the ceremony was structured is, and this is the thing that occurred to me this morning. It wasn't structured like an opening ceremony or like a convention for, PC gamers and things like that. It was structured like a shareholders meeting.
I mean, in essence, isn't it? Isn't it
Well,
just a keynote?
it's just them
It-
saying
it-
like,
yeah,
"Hey, we're
but well, I
Blizzard
mean,
and
About product.
it is, but it's BlizzCon has always been for the fans.
That's so
You have to
weird.
pay to
though.
get in,
It's such
too.
a weird. It's such a weird concept of like a company, a convention for one company.
Right, and
'Cause
that
most conventions are multiple companies.
Quake has one.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I think-
Warframe has one in
Bethesda has
Ontario.
one.
I think it's weird. I think it's weird that like that you're gonna get that niche.
Well,
now, granted, Blizzard has a lot of properties, but it's
Blizzard-
still only like
Blizzard
4
is
or
also,
5 properties. I mean, it's not.
I
It's not.
mean-
It's not like Comic-Con where you can literally get dozens and dozens and dozens of companies, which each have dozens and dozens of
Blizzard-
properties. It seems
Blizzard
so
is
limited.
also one of the only companies, really like the only company left that is almost not exclusively PC, but definitely geared more towards
PC than anything
Minus
else.
Diablo
They-
3's
they
release a few
are-
years ago.
They
Yeah.
are one of the only companies.
So what, Overwatch
that-
and Diablo 3 are the console.
They're on
options.
consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and Hearthstone
And
is
Hearthstone,
on mobile
mobile.
and tablet.
Yeah.
Hearthstone's another weird game that actually plays really well on mobile, but it's hard to sit down and play it on your PC. It feels like a mobile game.
Yeah, but essentially, so the way that this whole conference was structured, they opened with, let's talk about things like Black Ops, and it's now on our Battle.net launcher. Great. And Destiny 2 is on the Battle.net launcher. Great.
We've known that.
Yeah, we've known all this, and yet great. It was successful. Good for you guys.
Basically, it's news about other companies.
Right, and
games.
then that's how they opened it, and then they segued into let's talk about Heroes of the Storm. Whatever, that's fine. We'll show off this new character and these new skins. Very normal fare, very average stuff. Then they went into World of Warcraft, which usually ends up being further along in the conference. They discuss things that are happening, but show nothing.
Is it because nothing's happening?
There's
Well,
really,
right,
there's
but-
really
but-
nothing happening.
right.
Well, the
because-
subscriber count possibly dropped by as much as 50%.
Should BlizzCon be every other year?
Probably, but let
Because
me...
D23, the Disney convention, is every other year
think
for
that
this
When
very
you-
reason.
And when
They
you,
would
and when you
probably
really
benefit from that.
get into it, Blizzard as a company doesn't release games that often.
Yeah.
Very,
And-
very rarely, yeah.
Yeah.
The last time they released a game, technically, I guess, was the WoW expansion. But then before that, it was Overwatch. But they don't put out games that often. They put out content, and they discussed content. And I
Well,
think,
here's the thing. Let me
content
finish
is
my
stupid.
little
Yeah.
So the
Set the scene.
right. So they show off the little bit they have for the current WoW. They talk about WoW Classic. They say, okay, cool. If you have a subscription to normal WoW, you get it for free. That's big news.
What is WoW Classic?
It is the original WoW. So as it existed with
Like in
with modern,
2005.
right? As it existed,
Right.
So they announced that it's coming out next year.
A
all that
game
good
you've played
stuff.
for 10 years, and you're like, you know what was really good? First year.
And that's how a lot of people are with MMOs.
people have been playing it on private servers for years.
Yeah.
And then
Blizzard
Blizzard
shut
shut
them
them
down.
down.
Yeah. I mean, they've been a popular thing.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So they announce all
a while.
that. They go on and they move on to Hearthstone stuff, announce more stuff there, which, fine. You know, you're talking about, all the content coming out for that. Then they move on to Overwatch, which they show off their shorts, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Then they show off Warcraft 3, which is kind of, a big deal. People have been asking for this for years. Give you all good details on that. And then as the ceremony is closing, the closing to their ceremony is Diablo Immortal. You literally closed your entire ceremony where everybody that is in your audience right now is a hardcore, diehard fan of the products you bring to PC, and you close your ceremony with a mobile game.
Because
Remember,
it's
this is
their only new game
This is the
that they
final-
have to announce.
It's their final.
This is the final slide. This is the
Yeah.
thing. This is,
This is-
Apple's one
because
more
they
thing.
because they don't have anything else that's like actual new substantial content.
Here's the thing. If they had done Diablo somewhere towards the middle of this, buried it in the middle.
Or the
Right,
beginning.
right. But there's no other. It's the only new thing.
I do-
Everything
Well,
else
no,
is like
here's the
we've
thing.
remastered something.
I do think that if they flipped Diablo and Warcraft,
Warcraft
'cause the
3
war-
would
the
have
reception
been
probably
an
would have been better.
amazing way to end it.
The-
People would have lost their minds if that's how
Do
they
you
would
think
have
they're
ended.
trying to?
It's
They're trying to
because,
make news.
Again,
But they're not
yeah,
even making the Diablo game. That's the other thing.
right. It's being outsourced to a third-party company that actually handles all of their WoW servers in China
and
and
apparently,
does a lot of mobile games in China. And
I've heard of China.
Yes, I've heard of this
China.
I believe it is north of Japan.
No,
apparently-
that's completely wrong.
It's
But
so
moving
funny
on.
when those 6 things are on instead of one.
apparently the Diablo game is a exact clone of another game, just with
Yeah. It is
It's
Diablo.
kind of like that
pictures.
Westworld game was like a perfect clone of Fallout Vault.
Oh
Fallout
yeah,
Shelter.
yeah.
It
They
is, yeah.
sued though, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's two
Right.
different companies.
Yeah,
but the company
yeah.
that did the production for the Fallout Shelter game was then hired by HBO to do the Westworld game,
Mm-hmm.
and they just went and took the source code that they kept on their own servers, built it, reskinned it, gave new assets for Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason Bethesda knew that was them and what they had done was because they were bugs. They could
The
reproduce.
bugs, yeah, the bugs.
Leave
were
it to
those things.
Bethesda
I
to
recall
track the
this.
issue by its bugs. We track our IP infringements with known bugs. That's
Okay,
classic
And
Well,
Bethesda.
it's the paper town thing, the fake town on a
Exactly.
map. Yeah,
That's exactly what it is, really. But
Yeah.
it's
put a
some kind
fake
of-
town on a map. That way, you know that your map got copied if the fake town is there.
But David, it's funny because Bethesda games have a lot of bugs. They're small and they're funny, and no one really cares.
Everybody laughed.
Of course, I know that. I know
Laugh
so much about
track.
Bethesda and BlizzCon. I know all these things.
Right.
Oh, I can't believe it. I'm also so angry about this Diablo mobile game I've never heard of, never will hear of again, and will never play.
Have you ever played the other Diablos?
I played Diablo 2,
I mean, I played Diablo 1 back when it
and I've
came out.
watched my friend play a lot of 3.
Diablo 3 got some heat when it came out. When it
Yeah.
came out, by the way, not like when it was announced or anything, because the whole UI was focused around portability to console. They made it very easy to play the console instead
Yeah.
of potentially having like 10 action row buttons like Diablo 1 and 2 had. Now there were 4 buttons and your 2 mouse clicks. Perfect for a console, by the way, which has 4 other function buttons and the 2 triggers.
Man, you're so angry at console.
People got mad
So
about
mad
it.
about
People got and people forget that this happened.
Like,
But
people
this
got
was a
mad.
thing.
It seems like Corey got mad.
No, I didn't give a
Corey
shit.
is people.
I didn't give a shit because I had to do Diablo and I was fucking hyped. But other
I mean,
people
I played
knew
the
would
shit
not
out
stop
of Diablo
complaining
3.
about it.
I mean, to be fair, I played the shit out of that game.
Dude, I
Nuts.
logged on the other day and my character hours are way higher than I remember being. Okay, I actually
Steve
played
and
a
I
lot of
lived and
this.
breathed Diablo for like a year.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
So
it
will you
was-
be playing this mobile game?
I don't want to, but I'll probably end up downloading it.
I did a mobile game and I made it 2 months and I was like, why the fuck am I playing this?
Here's the thing, man.
It literally is just a log in and click this to get something shiny.
So,
And it-
I hate to remove the veil,
That's
but
not
that is all games.
I know. But if there is a good story
Yeah.
to go with it,
But is there?
in my
I mean, what's the good story to blackout
I was
Black
gonna
Ops?
say on that though, most of what I play is multiplayer, and I play that specifically because I like to just play PvP games.
I just like shooting people in the face.
I just like shooting people and being like, "Hi, I'm better than you," and then also getting fucked up and people fucking teabagging me.
I mean, I don't carry teams almost ever.
So you queue solo?
Oh no, I don't even have this. I don't even have the
Blackout.
new Black Ops at this point.
Are you
so-
doing any Royale games, Battle Royale
No.
games, or
Not really. No.
no? Neither you, David.
I play Spider-Man. I really do, though. That is the game I play more than anything.
You're making me sad, David.
I'm sorry, but like, what is it about Diablo that just the idea that a mobile game is not something anybody wants to play?
I think the biggest
That's
point
not a joke.
right
That's
now
legitimately what it
is
looked
the
like.
company is reskinning their own game and just putting Diablo skins on it.
But it seems like the minute it got announced, before anyone would have even conceivably
because
known
no
that, people
one-
were like,
well,
That's
there was
because
also-
none of their
Yes and
core
no.
base
There was also a
wanted
guy
this.
during the announcement. They asked if anybody had questions.
Well, yeah,
A
they
guy
did a
stood
Braun
up.
move. That's
A
not
guy-
how keynotes
A
work.
guy stood up and said,
it's not a keynote, David. It's a
What?
convention.
"Yeah, the red
yeah,
shirt
and
guy."
they were giving a
He-
keynote.
He stood up and said, "I'm just curious. Is this a
That's what
poorly,
opening
is this
ceremonies
a
are.
poorly timed April Fool's joke?"
Oh no, I mean that's the other thing that makes this unique is they've been doing BlizzCon for a long time now, and never at BlizzCon has anything they've ever done gotten booed, ever. This was
So strange.
actively
I-
just
Real question though. Do you think if this guy hadn't made that joke, do you think if one person hadn't stood up and expressed a negative opinion, that the entirety of the fan base would be as negative right now?
Oh no, absolutely
talk.
they would.
I
Be.
guess if
I
you
don't know.
Well,
I
here's
don't
the
know.
thing. I was watching. I was watching the opening ceremonies live because I had some downtime at work, and
Sure, you did.
Lucky.
Diablo's been kind of the bastard stepchild
Well, yeah.
of Blizzard for the last since Diablo 3 came out.
I mean,
the
Diablo
most
2
part.
was one of their better known titles.
It was, but Diablo 3 is in the last few years really been the bastard stepchild. That they don't pay attention to it. They don't seem to really keen on doing anything new with it. We've gotten one expansion out of it. That's it.
It's terrible compared to Overwatch. The content cycle is about
Yeah,
one
it's
tenth the
awful.
pace.
So you've got diehard fans that absolutely love Diablo. That they announced months ago that their big things were coming.
Big things are coming.
And then
get excited,
then
people.
Everybody's hyped. They're just like, yeah, we're getting a new game. We're getting just something new that's going to be awesome. That we're just clamoring for more Diablo. And then, like a month before BlizzCon, they actually came out and said, guys, temper your expectations a little bit, please.
Yeah, that
Just
was like the week before BlizzCon,
right.
right?
Like a week ago, they were just like, please temper your expectations. We've got
And
stuff
people
to
said,
announce.
no, expectations higher now.
No,
You
and then-
set the expectations
No,
and you got
and
us
then-
hyped over a month ago.
Yeah, and then everybody was already just like, okay, so we're clearly not getting a new game, but maybe that means we're just getting maybe a new
Right.
character
New
added
character,
to
new
Diablo
expansion.
3.
There's a
Just
lot of talk about
something
this.
to Diablo 3. And then
Anything.
instead, they literally just slapped the Diablo community in the face by coming out at the very end of the keynote and going, by the way, mobile gaming.
What if somebody was like, so like you ever played the Monument Valley games?
Yeah,
Those are like excellent games.
Right.
yeah.
So and they're puzzle based. What if like the Monument Valley people came out and when we've been working on something with Blizzard, we've been working on games. So you start with, okay, so these really talented game developers are going to make this interesting mobile game, and then as you hear more about it, they go, by the way, it's Diablo. wouldn't you be like, oh, cool?
Well, right, but that's not how it was
I know, but I guess it's
positioned.
just so interesting to me that it's just the sentence mobile and Diablo, and people went fucking no before
Consider
they knew
this.
anything about it. They went no,
But
absolutely not.
well, here's
How
the thing.
dare you try and put something on my phone?
Well,
the thing I have all the time.
Well, here's the problem: is that they said Diablo Mobile, they said
Yeah.
Diablo Immortal, and they said it's on phones. They said, we're trying to get to
And someone stood up and went, "Is this a joke?"
No.
Yeah,
That
well,
happened.
that happened, but-
Well, that happened later. Here's the timeline. So they announce it, and then they give some details, and they're like, "Okay, you guys want to see gameplay, right? Obviously, you want to see gameplay." And then they show off gameplay, and it is the most generic.
So people
mobile
saw the game
Yes,
in
it
that
was
moment.
Generic mobile
There was your
game
first
gameplay.
mistake.
So there was the front and the back, right? They had the video, like the announcement trailer, and
Right.
then they had the gameplay. And the
I
gameplay
think-
was where it went from, okay, this looks, because even the trailer had me let down. I was like, this looks fucking.
Yeah, this could be cool. When I first saw it, I was like,
No, I was
okay.
not hyped by it. I saw it, and I was like, this doesn't look
I
that
think
interesting.
if they would have taken that same announcement and said, by the way, Diablo 3 is now on your phone, I think people would have been like,
Well, yeah.
fuck yeah, let's go.
Well, I mean, that would have been interesting. but-
Expanding Diablo 3 out instead of
Well,
They,
no,
they
even
just,
that
they
might have
just
been
brought
better.
it to the Nintendo Switch.
It's not. It's imagine Overwatch. The first year we get a hero every 3 months, which is their current update cycle. It's every 3 or 4 months we get a new hero, and then after year 2, imagine no heroes are announced, nothing comes out. A year goes by, and at BlizzCon they tease one hero, and it takes 6 months, and it comes out, and then we finally come to this year at BlizzCon. Yeah, we're having an Overwatch announcement, and yeah, we made just an Overwatch spinoff for your phone. No new heroes, no new maps, no crap. But when the game came out, it was really well supported. And the support cycle slowed down, but some really good content came out. We got Brigitte after 2 years. And imagine that was the case. And that's not the case because Overwatch gets updates, big updates, every 3 to 4 months. StarCraft gets rebalancing passes every month. Okay? Like their other games are super well supported. And Diablo 3 gets nothing aside from seasonal heroes.
Well, obviously people are upset about this. Is it just that overall, given their number of games, Diablo just doesn't meet the...
It is their least loved game.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
But
it's
they
just-
have said that they want to change that, and they did. I just read something. They
we
did
would
an
like to make
interview.
more money. Oh, thanks.
They did an interview where
Yeah.
Blizzard basically said, we're making a mobile game. We want to reach the younger audience. We want to get Diablo into the hands of people that it hasn't touched yet.
Okay.
Diablo 2 still has
but-
a lot of people playing it online, by the way.
Yeah, but
Well, Diablo 2 is not a great example.
a 10-year-old is not going to go, hey, I want to play Diablo 2.
Right, well,
It's
people that
just
play it
not-
are usually for nostalgia.
Well, and I
reasons.
think the
game looks
bigger
like
the bigger
garbage.
thing is, so they did the announcement, they showed everything off. Everybody was just like, okay, weird. Then they did the Q&A session, and during the Q&A session, guy asked, "Is this a joke?" And then everybody's obviously like, "Ha ha ha, funny," Guys on the stage kind of get taken aback by it. Then somebody else comes up and asks the question, "Okay, is this ever coming to PC? Like, am I ever going to see this on PC?" And they said flat out, just no, we have no plans. They get boos, and the immediate reaction is, "What? You guys don't have phones?"
They weren't booing because they wanted to play it on PC. They're booing because your game's bad.
Well, and they were booing it because it's just such a condescending attitude.
Yeah.
Your core demographic is going out of their way to ask you legitimately. I mean, I might be interested if you put this where I want to play
A
it.
friendly reminder
and you're turning around and making a smart ass comment to me about my phone.
All of Blizzard's IPs started on and were born on PC. Up until 2012, 2013, consoles weren't even really touched by them. And consoles have been out in mainstream for a while now, guys. I mean, we've had a Halo since 2001. They could have been in the game a decade prior. But Blizzard's always focused on their main demographic, which is PC gamers. PC gamers, which has already been established during the cast, they're fairly minority in terms of gamers.
Yeah.
But they are very, very loyal. Like, Blizzard gamers typically
It
only
does-
play like Blizzard games and then some other games occasionally. So they have a very loyal, very I wouldn't say fanatical, but they have a very loyal, very high expectation.
Fanatical
fan base.
might actually be a good word.
It's
for a
getting
lot of
that way.
Blizzard
It's
fans.
really getting that way.
It does seem ill-advised to go to a place in which you have a niche audience and go, "Hey, the thing we're going to use to reach a wider audience, would you all like to see it?" Niche
Yeah.
audience, and then when the niche audience goes, "Is this for us?" and you go, "No, it's not for you."
Yeah, and that's
Like,
that's
I mean,
basically what happened.
That's a great way to boil it
yeah,
down.
Right.
like it would be like going to like Comic-Con and being like, it would be like going to Comic-Con and showing like that Inhuman show, which they did do, but like, and if somebody went, "This doesn't look like it's for us," and they go, "Well, no, it's for ABC viewers," and
Well, no, it would-
my response would be like, "Yeah, but those people aren't here."
Well, yeah, it would be like showing up at Comic-Con and be like, we're rebooting Jag. Oh, okay.
Cool.
That's great. I mean, do you have anything that like is for us? No.
No.
Yeah,
Neat. Thank
No,
you.
only Jag.
It's like showing off a
More
wine.
Jag.
It's like showing off a wine at like a beer convention. Okay, like
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in. Your target audience doesn't want that. Sure, a good number of
But
people in
I
that
think
room could have been mobile
that's the
gamers.
really tough thing is that it's not their target audience.
I think the other
But
problem is
Right, well, then
they're
why
in
are
a
they
really they're in a tough place because they as a company have a convention that is
They-
built of people who are no longer their target
and,
audience,
well, they
which is
have
a problem.
they
Well,
have their
they
own
did-
convention, and
That's why
they're
people are
having to
pissed, man.
talk about each of their games.
Yeah.
So they get to Diablo and they say, "Oh, it's coming to Switch."
Well, this is also the problem of being
Yeah.
one company. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're a convention.
They
and it's like,
have
I have
to.
4 properties. Would you like to
Now
come
they-
to a
6.
multi-day conference? That's still not enough. A multi-day conference. You cannot fill 16 hours a year
Actually, you know
about
what?
4 to 6
But-
things.
I'll give you 4 because Hearthstone and Here's the Storm are both conglomerations of
it's
all the
not
other IPs.
enough.
It's Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch.
Like D23,
That's
D23 is 2 days every 2 years, and even then there is filler, and that's Disney, who has
but
dozens of properties.
yeah, so Blizzard has to touch on each of their properties. They have to.
Yeah,
And-
this is a
There are
mistake.
other things
They
that
should
happen
not be
at
doing this
BlizzCon.
convention.
But when they
David.
get to Diablo, the only news for Diablo is that it's coming to Switch, or it is on Switch as of yesterday.
yeah.
By the way, it's out
And-
now. No new announcements there except for this fucking
Well,
mobile game.
and they haven't updated Diablo.
Well, there's something cool.
forever.
I mean, it's cool to be like, hey, by the way, Diablo 3 is coming to the Switch now. Like that.
Well,
that
I
would
mean,
be a
we've
great
known
way.
it-
That's cool.
You know what would have been cool is
Yeah.
here's
Pull out your Switch and download it now.
Here's a 30-second
like, oh.
teaser. It's very vague. It's abstract of maybe a new champion for Diablo 3 this year. That would have been enough to satisfy
Actually, what they
people.
really
That would have
needed
been
to do is, I have a feeling that somewhere
not
deep
even
in the
bring up
bowels,
Diablo.
well, no, somewhere deep in the bowels of Blizzard, Diablo 4 is somewhere way early in pre-production. During
concept art.
yeah, during
Well, they said
Bethesda,
they said they're working on
right
other
during
games.
Bethesda's E3 conference,
The
this
Elder
year.
Scrolls 6.
Yeah, this has come
Right.
up in a few different
show
online
a
media.
picture.
Right,
and say
because
it's happening.
you showed off Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a mobile game, and I was like, and then you went, by the way, Elder Scrolls motherfucking sucks.
It's literally
That
a
would've been
picture.
enough.
It's literally an image of a castle, and it says Elder Scrolls 6. It's like VI,
And it's just like-
and it doesn't even look like it looks like a generic font from Photoshop.
Yeah,
like
and
no
it looks like it
joke.
was
I
literally at the
remember that
last
trailer,
minute.
and I was like, this looks bad.
Yeah,
Like,
and the thing was, they're like, look, it's years off. We've got to finish other stuff we're working on, but it's gonna happen. And everybody was still like, fuck yeah. Had you announced Diablo Immortal and then immediately followed up with, and we have one more
and in
thing
the
to
next
briefly-
decade, you will see Diablo 4.
Yes, and
Woo!
if they had at the very least done that, I think the ire of their fan base wouldn't
Yeah.
be near.
I mean,
what
there
it
would still
is
be
right
pissed off
now.
people, but they wouldn't be livid because they
Same
wouldn't
with-
feel depressed. They wouldn't
Because
feel,
the mobile game would feel like a dalliance.
Or I mean, Jesus, just announce that
opposed
you're
to their
you're
main thing.
remastering Warcraft 3. Cool, just say, and we're remastering Diablo 2. I don't know when it's out.
anything. They could have done anything, even a single like a hero tease, an expansion for Diablo 3 tease. The game's only 6 years old. That's young by Blizzard standards. Let's be real here. Okay, like even just a tease for any small bit of content for their current game
They're
or
not
a
going to add
remaster.
anything new to Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo 3 feels like it's dead in the water,
It's
right?
been dead. Also, if you
Only
think
Blizzard
about
knows,
it,
right?
it's the only game currently supported by Blizzard that doesn't actively make money. Every single other game they have,
There's
has,
no
There's
microtransaction.
none. There was.
There's no
with-
loot boxes
there
like
was
Overwatch
with the real-
has.
Right. I think people expect too much from Blizzard, though.
Well, yeah. Well,
Uh,
people
Well,
expect too
people
much from
expect
everybody.
too much in general, right?
Yeah.
Do I expect too much for, having a community? Here's the problem, guys. Again, this comes back to what the community managers told the community. They said expect something big.
And you got
And
a
here-
new
and
game.
here
You
we
may
are.
not like it, but you got a new
Well, here's
game.
what
I mean, I don't know what to
Diablo-
tell
And
you.
this-
When
well,
you
this is
tell
the-
your
this is
avid
what-
fan base that's been starving for content,
Well, and
they
here's
are,
the
they are
other
hungry,
huge
they are
problem
starving.
that we're getting a
Yeah, you
new,
got a whole new game.
Well, no, we're getting a new game.
Sorry.
We're
It's
play
getting
on
a
my
new
game.
game with air quotes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not.
It's a new game. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah,
Well-
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying, like,
Well, no, it's not a new game though. It is literally people have been investigating this. This company that's making it is reskinning a game they already have made.
David, these findings came out within hours of
And this game's
announcing
available?
this.
Yes, it's in China. The rough translation is Eternal of
It's
God.
Diablo.
No, the rough...
It's Diablo, but with like a D, it's like
No,
D
wait,
and a
it's
3.
It's a backwards
No.
D.
It's Hell Game. It's Hell Game, right? No?
Yeah, Hell Game. No, it's
The
called...
A's upside down.
Yeah, it's called Eternal of God, and...
Oh my God.
Yeah, the character...
Are the E's in Eternal 3s?
I hope so. But no, the user interface, the character models, everything looks the same.
Right. But it's only available in China?
Yes, and so
don't know if
everybody.
it's
So
only
basically,
there, but-
what we're getting is we're not getting a new game.
Right.
We're getting a knockoff game that Blizzard has explicitly gone out of their way to tell this company, hey, just reskin this and put Diablo on it, and we'll be fine. Blizzard's been working with NetEase for a few years now because when WoW went live in China, they had to have a Chinese company because
Correct. They
the
have to have
servers
Chinese land-based servers.
Right,
Yeah.
the servers have to be based in China.
It's by,
so
it's
NetEase
Chinese
is
law.
the one hosting the WoW servers.
And they've got something of a monopoly over there, but of course that's not corrupt or anything. Just like
Right.
the Communist Party. Moving on. So if you make a game,
Whoa,
it
bro.
makes you a lot of money.
Hell, China.
I, for one, welcome our new Chinese overlords.
Hell, Sutton.
This is the best Three Ninjas podcast ever.
This is the most successful Three Ninjas.
BlizzCon.
I'm gonna
podcast.
call it Three Ninjas, and then
Three Ninjas.
but it's just a BlizzCon podcast. Oh, that's so great.
Three ninjas.
Well, Three
immortal.
Ninjas.
Eternal of Three Ninjas.
Eternal Three Ninjas. Diablo 3, Three Ninjas. Diablo 3
Diablo
Ninjas.
3 Ninjas.
Diablo 3 Ninjas.
Oh,
Diablo
please.
3 Ninjas. I've been
Done.
David.
I've been Steve.
I'm Spider-Man.
And I'm Brian.
I don't like you, Corey. I don't know why I did this.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.